So these are the topics that I'm going to cover for today's session. This is going to be a small demo, but going forward we'll cover a lot more, all the rise of objects, what are the complex objects that I've done. I'll try to do it in the system for you guys so that you get the hang of it. You will get to I'll share it with you, all the configuration documents, and all the after this session you will also get the recording of each of the sessions that are getting recorded by the training institute. Okay, so so go ahead and let's get started. So first we'll talk about what is MDG and MDM. So Sanjida, right? Sorry if I pronounce your name wrongly. So Sanjida, you said you worked on MDM, right? So
Correct.
can you tell me the difference, if you have, if you know any of the differences between what is MDG and MDM?
Um, sorry. So what I understand basically it's like MDM, it's more from the SAP side. Okay, MDG it's more from the business perspective. So say suppose a business if they want to create some article or vendor BP basically, so
Mm-hmm.
they don't want like for the UI perspective, how they can do it's like through an Excel, which is for their easy perspective. So
Mm-hmm.
most probably they want that easiness, and they are using MDG for this article and business partner creation. That is one difference which I found between MDM and MDG. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing obviously is the replication part. Say suppose
Mm-hmm.
we are moving from uh, another domain to SAP, then the
Mm-hmm.
replication, data replication is more easy in MDG rather than in MDM.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. So I'll try to give you more insight on that. What you said is correct. Partially
Mm,
is not correct, but I'll
yeah.
give you the exact meaning so that you will get to know it better. Okay. So I see someone
Okay.
else also joined. Uh, who is that? Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Your good
Okay,
name, please?
yes. My name is Ahmed Farouk, and I'm located in Denmark, in Copenhagen.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So Ahmed, you go by Ahmed, right?
yes.
Okay, so Ahmed, myself Sumit. So I'll during the course I'll be giving you all the knowledge on the MDG side of it, from the functional side of it. Okay, all the implementations, what are rise of objects, and what are the configurations, what are the meaning of it. So I don't really. This is for everyone, that I don't really start configuring and showing you the system in the first place. Okay, what I do is I explain the things first, and then I convert them into the system. Okay, I'll show you it in the I will start the configuration after 3-4 classes, once we are done with the explanation and everything. So Ahmed, what do you do?
Okay, I am working with master data, and I
Okay.
have been working with generally as a user with SAP FI and CO area for
Okay.
last 5 years plus.
Okay.
And yeah, so the background is master data, and now we are looking to work with MDG,
Okay.
especially with the business partner area, and also to bring more master data in to enhance the application with the further with the further areas of master data like finance, material master, or
Great.
anything else with the custom built as well. But the one
Okay.
question before we actually start, one thing I
Mm-hmm.
would like to know, because I have been trying to look into other companies as well, doing the similar training or the same training, but then
Mm-hmm.
nobody is dividing the course between functional and technical MDG part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in your from the HKR point of view, you're doing the same course into two divisions. One is the functional MDG, and one is the technical MDG. What's the reason
Correct.
for that one?
So there is so I'm not a techno functional guy. Okay, so I started as a functional, and then later on I took up the MDG projects. Okay, during my initial career. So I'm not into coding side. Okay, so
Okay,
anything that are related to functional side of it, any configuration, any implementation. So from a functional standpoint, what all things you are going to do if you are designated as an MDG functional guy, right? So what all configuration, what all things that you guys need to do is something that
Yes.
I'll be telling you. Okay,
Right.
so
So, for instance, creating a custom data object apart from the out of the box areas, which are probably the four main areas: finance, customer, vendors, and material master. So, creating a new custom data object, is that included in this functional course?
Right, good question. So there are different objects, rise of objects, as I told you before also. So if let's say, for example, of finance, I'll start off with finance. So when we do the there are different custom objects in finance, like custom hierarchies that we need to create, some new fields that we are going to create in the existing master data, some new request type, completely custom request type, some new entity type, custom entity type. All those activities we are going to cover. Okay, all the activities that are needed from a functional standpoint. So don't worry, I'll show you end to end. But when it comes to any enhancement where we need the technical skill, like in terms of coding, right?
Yes.
Then in that case, there will be a separate technical guy that you can connect with the team.
Yes,
Okay?
yes. No, but that was my exact question. The technical part of MDG course, do we really need that? Or is it a purely IT concentrated area where they actually design and code the system rather than creating the data objects or other things that we do in MDG?
So there are existing data model already created. Okay,
Yes.
if there is any governance process that you want to add on to a process which is not standard, like for
Yes.
example, creation of say segment. Okay, creation
Right.
of segment. Just for example, suppose it is not there in MDG. Okay, and
Yeah.
you want to add the governance process, then in that case you have to create a custom data model.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's what I meant earlier. So when we have to create a custom data model, that is included in the functional course, right?
Partially. So again, this is like when you create a custom data model, right? So there are certain activities which are related to functional guy, but there are certain activities which needs to be done from technical side as well.
Okay, okay. So then it has to be a combination of both if you want to create a custom object right from scratch.
Correct. Yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
okay. That is fine. But this one, you would include data replication and
So I
system
will include,
integrations.
absolutely. So I'll include, I'll start with this MDG finance. Basically, MDG finance where we'll be covering all the standard data elements, all the standard entity types. I'll show you how to create a new custom element, data element, new entity types, the setting up of the workflow, replication, ALE
Yes.
setup,
Okay,
right? All those
okay,
things will be
okay.
covered.
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect.
Everything
Yeah.
that you need from a functional standpoint will be covered.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So as Sanjida mentioned, MDG versus MDM, I'll give you more insight of this. Okay. So MDM, before MDG, MDM used to not have all the standard tables before. Okay. MDM was like like for example, if you have a CSKS table, CEPC table, right? From material standpoint, the characteristics, all those things, those tables, standard tables were not present in MDM. So that's the reason why while doing the validation for the configuration that are done was a big challenge. Okay, and in place of, suppose if we have SKA1 table, if you have created something through a governance process, any GL account if you have created, right, then you needed to create a custom SKA1, ZSKA1 or ZSKB1 table for MDM to do the validation. Okay, so basically the validation of the configuration was a big challenge in MDM because MDM box did not have all the standard MG, all the standard S4 table. That's the reason why MDG came into existence, where MDG is built on top of ECC or S4. Okay, and it has all the standard tables by default from before. So configuration is something that is made quite easy. You don't have to create custom table for the standard ones. Okay, you have SKA1, SKBN by default. You have it in the MDG system, so you don't have to create any custom table for the already created table, already SAP delivered standard tables. So these are the basic difference between MDG and MDM. Okay, any questions on this one before I go ahead to the next session, next slide? Okay, I'll take it as no. So master data governance for finance, if you talk, or for any data model, if you talk about, right? So master data governance, why master data governance we need? Because I know many of you are aware of it, but just as part of demo, let me share it with you. So master data governance box is a single box which has all the master data included, so that you don't have difference in the master data fields when it comes to sending it across different systems. So it acts as a single truth of a single source of truth that contains all the master data. So if you have it in multiple systems, then there are chances of making human errors. That's the reason why we have master data governance that goes through approval process until and unless approvers approves the particular master data that you guys are creating, that the users are creating. Till then it will not be replicated to the or it will not be sent to the standard SAP table. It will be kept in the MDG's internal table, or what we call it as a staging table. Okay, so we maintain the system, we maintain the master data in the staging table. Okay, then it will be sent across to do the validation as part of workflow process. There will be approvers at different levels, be it 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, 4 level. Each of these levels, the validation set of validation will be performed by the approvers. Once the approval process is done, then with the help of ALE or Dropbox or SOA, whatever application tool we are going to use, it will be sent across to both SAP and non-SAP system. Okay.
So just a quick question. In this session, or in the training of this MDG, this creating or building an approval workflow would also be included, right? Or is
Absolutely.
it yeah? So we
Yes.
actually manually build the approval workflows. It's not automatically designed
No. We have
by
to
the
do the
system.
configuration. We have to set up the approvers and everything. Don't
Yes,
worry about
yes.
it. So end to
Okay.
end,
Yes.
Don't worry about it. Okay. So there are different models that we have from MDG standpoint. Anyone aware of the different models, hub and co-deployment? Anyone? Uh, if not, let me know. I'll go ahead and tell you. Anything that you know about hub model and co-deployment?
I think even if we have some knowledge, it would be good to learn from you, being
I will
as an
definitely
expert.
do. I will definitely do. I just wanted to know if you guys are aware of it now. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead. So there are two models, both are in use. Okay, we cannot say it's always hub model or it's always co-deployment model that we'll be using. Okay, both are in use, and depending upon the scenarios, we are going to go ahead and pick and choose the particular model. Okay, so in co-deployment, we don't have a dedicated MDG system. It is built on top of, it is actually built on top of the transactional box that is on the S4 box. We don't have a separate master data box in co-deployment. Whereas in hub model, we have the master as a separate independent box you will get as for master data governance. Okay, since co-deployment is built on top of a transactional box or in top of S4, we don't require any additional replication tool to do the replication. Okay, whereas if we have a separate independent master data box, definitely we need to connect it to the different S4 box or non-SAP system. We can even send it to non-SAP system. Okay, we can connect to any system like Workday that HR uses. You can send the master data from MDG system to S4 and also to non-SAP system like Workday or any other system. Okay, so hub model is nothing but you have a separate box, and where you need a replication tool to send the data from MDG out of MDG to any other S4 or non S4 system. Then the question comes up is why and how to choose this particular model. Okay, the reason why, the only reason is in a company, right? In a company, if we have a lot of data, lot of huge data, and transactional data are going to are something that are very critical and cannot be stopped. So you have a uh, upgrade timing, right, for the system whenever you get the system to upgrade. So if you have huge data and you cannot compromise on the transaction that can be stopped, then in that case hub model is always recommended. We cannot where we don't have to depend on the transaction to be stopped. So first of all, these upgrades are happening during weekends. Okay, for example, generally it happens over weekend. So whenever these upgrades are happening, so if we can compromise on stopping the data, stopping the transaction, and if you see, if you have data in terms of master data, if you have like uh, 10,000, then in that case we don't require any hub model. Okay, if you have a low volume of master data, then we can use co-deployment as one model. But wherever you have huge data and where transactions processing cannot be compromised, then in that case it is obviously advisable that you should have a separate MDG system, so that S4 transactions can continue to be processed. They don't have to depend on MDG system upgrades to be finished. Okay, so we have three things over here. So hub model is a separate model for MDG box, where you need a replication tool to send the data out of MDG to any other SAP or non-SAP system. And hub model we use only where we don't have huge data, and where uh, we cannot compromise on transactions data to be stopped. Okay, anything that you want to raise a question for me, or anything that you want me to repeat if you
Yeah,
didn't
so Sumit,
understand?
I guess, of course, the decision of which model to apply depends very
Mhm,
much on the complexity of your business and the business requirements as well, as you just mentioned and explained. But from the
mhm,
best practices point of view, from the industry
mhm,
best practices point of view,
mhm.
which model is proportionately in more use than the other? Is it the hub model or the core deployment?
Again, as I told you before also, that this is both the models are in use. We cannot
Okay,
buy on one another, but because see, if you have a hub model, it will be more cost effective. I mean,
it's
sorry, if you have a core deployment, it is more cost effective because you don't have a separate MDG server to maintain. Okay,
yes, yes. But what
depending
about
upon
the replication? What about the replication in the core deployment model? If you still have a downstream system, let's say 20 more downstream systems, can we
Mhm.
still do the same
Yeah, we
quality of
can send it
replication
to, correct. We can send it to other non-SAP system, but not to
from the
the
core
SAP.
deployment as well?
Yes, because it is already built on top of on S4 side, right? So
Right.
from there, from S4, so it will work in this way. So if you have something in master data, right, you want to replicate, so we will send an outbound from MDG system to S4 system. For S4 system, it will be an inbound. Okay, but in that case, in case of co-deployment, when system is already having the data, right, you don't
Yeah.
have to send the data to S4 explicitly, right? So
Okay.
you will have the data in S4. So from S4 you will send an outbound to the any other receiving system where it will be an inbound.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, okay, sir. So next one we have, these are the five configuration items that we have from functional standpoint that I'll be covering during my course. Okay, so data modeling, UI modeling, process UI modeling is also something that requires some kind of coding skill, because you have to change the UI, but I'll explain what things are done in UI. Process modeling is something that we do, how what change request to be used, how to which workflow to be used for which change request, what type of workflow to be used. Then we have validation and derivation is also one part of configuration. Then data replication is also again the tool. We have to make a decision as to what tool do we use. So often you hear when you are when you get into any MDG project, they will ask you why to use IDOC and why not to use SUA, why to use SUA and why not to use IDOC. All these questions you will come. So I'll explain you this with the scenario, okay, in the coming sessions. Why to use IDOC or why to use SOA in what scenario, okay?
Right. So
So
one
these.
quick question on the data modeling, the
Mhm,
first part. Does it
mhm,
specifically cover the data model from point of view of the fields? Let's say if in terms of business partner or
mhm,
customers or vendors, let's say
mhm,
you have 25 or 30 or 50 different fields. Is that what
mhm.
you mean by data modeling? What fields to be considered when we are building the data object?
Okay, so data modeling is where we do where we do all the structurization, okay? So if you take example of say BP, right, customer or
Yes.
vendor, as you rightly mentioned, or material or anything, GL account or
Yes.
cost, right?
Okay.
So all the standard entity types are already created based on how you structurize your data model. Suppose if you are
Hmm.
going to add a new field to the existing data, existing
Yes.
entity type, the same
Yes.
way you have to update and structure the data model so that system will create the backend staging table, internal table. So
Yes.
based on
Yes.
how you structure your data model depend on will actually result in creation of staging table at the backend by the system. So don't worry,
Yes.
I'll cover all this topic in detail. This is just a
Okay.
demo, so I just wanted to cover. Okay, all these topics are in and of itself will take some time to cover. Okay,
No, for me,
So
I
Sumit,
just wanted
one
to have the basic understanding of
sure,
these headings.
sure. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yep.
Sanjit, think something?
Yeah, Sumit. So one thing, like I understand that UI modeling and process modeling, we get more customization requests, but how often we customize the data modeling part?
We have to customize quite often actually. So, in
Okay.
if you are into any big implementation project, right? Then I think
Mm-hmm.
if you have a go live period of say 6 months, then you will end up doing
Mm-hmm.
around 8 to 10 or 12 enhancements. And any enhancement that you do, you have to reflect the same in data model.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So guys, I'll show you one small demo. Okay, which is recorded, and then let me know if you have any questions. So before we start this demo, so this is the UI or the launchpad of MDG, where I will show you how to where I'll show you creation of a change request manually. Okay, so this is the app. So instead of going to FS00, obviously we'll go to MDG launchpad and go ahead and create the a change request for any master data that we're going to create. So create change request is one. So we'll give the description. So here I'm going through NWBC, okay, the launchpad. When we actually roll it out to the users, there will be separate apps created for each of these tiles. Okay, for each of these application will have a separate apps created. Don't worry, I'll cover all these topics. So just that I just wanted to give you the hang of what exactly how to create this here. Okay, suppose if you are going to create account, okay, we'll give the additions. Addition concept is also again a big topic that I'll cover.
While you're talking on these things, actually, because I'm not a technical guy, so you just mentioned a word NWBC. What does that mean?
NWBC is a transaction code to get into the launchpad of MDG.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you give all the details here, the details that we give. This is creation of GL account at chart level. Okay, we'll go to the next. So this is where we provide the notes, and if there is any attachment that we need to attach, this is all standard UI. Okay. Here we give the description and everything.
So I believe it has the same fields as we have in FS00 or FSP0.
Absolutely, but it is divided. So once you save the data in a change request number will be created, will be auto generated, and we have to go to this change request. And once the CR is created, a workflow gets triggered. Okay, so you have to open the CR and see. So once you open the CR, you will get into this screen. Okay, so this is the first level of approval process. So a GL account in this case has two level of approval process. So unless and until you find approve both the levels, you are not going to see it in the standard SK1 table in the SP. Okay, it will still be there in the staging table. So first level is approved. Okay, then you have, this is the second level where you can reject, approve. Okay, once it gets approved at both the levels, you can go ahead and see the status of the change request. You see, final check approved.
So for each of these ones,
Mhm.
do we have to approve every single data object that we will create, maintain, change, delete, whatever we need to do? It
Mhm.
needs to be done manually, each one of them separately, right?
Not manually. So you have two options. Either you can do it all at one go using file mass upload. Okay,
Yes.
or you can do it manually, each individually.
Okay. And then the
Both
second part of the approvals,
Mhm.
the second part on the approvals, do
Mhm.
we again have to manually approve every time, or can we have a built-in logic that triggers the approval automatically if everything is according to the
Okay.
business rules?
Okay, again it depends. So the standard process what we have is the approver will get a notification in the email
Yes.
that there is a
Hmm.
CR that is pending for review. Okay, the approver will go in and see the change request and create the approve the change request, approve or rejects the change request, and then accordingly it will get replicated. The second option what you are saying is possible, but that requires some coding to be done. It is an enhancement where you can go ahead and auto approve the change request. That is possible,
Yes.
but that is taken care of using separate coding. You will have a baddie where you can go ahead and do this, write the logic, and that will
Yes.
overlook the approval process, and it will auto approve
Yeah,
the
of
change.
course, but the auto approval must have some sort of logic built in which
Yeah.
follows the business rules, and once
Yes.
that passes those rules, it can auto approve.
Correct. So auto approval thing can be done in MDG based on what logic the business requires. Suppose if they require
Exactly.
some logic in terms of say correct, if they're looking up at some way field in the in the master data,
Yes. Yes.
some set of
Exactly.
fields if they're just checking, and they
So
can go ahead and yes,
yeah,
possibilities definitely. There are
the
multiple
possibility is there.
absolutely. There are multiple objects that I worked on where we have this, especially in terms of hierarchy, we had multiple auto approval process. So it is
Yes.
possible, which requires a logic to be written by the coder, and based on the logic that the business will provide.
Yes. 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 Our aim is to automate the system as far as possible.
That is absolutely. At the end of the session, I will share you the different baddies and everything. Okay, so that you will get it handy. So from a functional standpoint, you just don't just have to know the configuration steps. Okay, uh, not everywhere you will find a techno-functional guy. You will only get a technical guy who knows nothing about MDG. Okay, so you have to feed him. Okay, boss, this is the baddies. Okay, that you need to use. This is the logics. He will just do and sit. He will just sit and do the coding. Okay, but
Right. Right.
he is
Okay.
not a techno-functional guy. Okay, there are
Yes.
very few techno-functional guys, but yeah, even if you are a functional guy, you need to know some of the existing baddies, standard delivered baddies that you
So
need to.
sorry again for excuse my ignorance for the
Mhm.
language, but what do you mean by baddies?
So there are different spaces, places, blank spaces, in a very lame language. I'm telling you. So baddie is like a different space that SAP provides where you can go ahead and write the logic. You can do the
Okay.
coding.
Okay. Yes. Yes. But what does
It's
it
a very
actually
lame concept, but
abbreviation for?
Sorry.
What is this abbreviation, BADI? Is
See,
it an
it's a
abbreviation
business
of some?
add-in. It's a business add-in. So business add-ins means it's a kind of enhancement. So
Okay.
SAP has given that enhancement to us to upgrade our system based on the business requirement. So it's kind of customization.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Here you can go ahead and make the changes make the enhancement and write the logic as per the requirement.
So, Sumit, my question is, in case of BADI, because now we are moving to the S4, right? So there, the BADIs are something different than our normal ERP BADI. Okay, so what kind of configuration you are going to show us in? It is based on the S4 or based on the ERP?
I'll show you in terms of S4 only.
Yeah, that's good actually. Yeah.
The latest version I'll show you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, guys. So this ends the demo. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead with the session, you can notify uh, 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 the coordinator. But I've been with this training institute multiple with previous batches as well. So if you want to take a feedback from the already existing students, you can go ahead and take it. And don't worry, it will be a very comprehensive training where I'll first make you understand with logic, like for example addition, which I talked about, right? What is the concept before we actually start creating the configuration for addition and everything, or creating addition or any other config for that matter. Okay,
So
I'll
is
cover
there
the enhancement also.
is there any part of means I think kind of content do you have that which you will follow that
Yes,
which particular
yes,
topics?
yes, I'll follow. I'll share it with you when we start the actual sessions. No, I will try to cover all the possible. I have the sheet which covers all the points, all the bullet points which we need to cover.
So the core, the full course content, you have it
Correct.
in your list.
Yes, and we'll cover one by one. Okay.
Okay. And the second question is
Migration
this
is one
one.
topic. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. But this one, the total duration of this course is around 30 hours. Is it correct?
Depends. I
Or
mean, again, if we are going to take couple of hours a day or 1 hour
yes.
a day, depends. So that you will connect with the coordinator. They will update you how much
Okay. Right.
uh,
Right.
what
And
for.
then there's one final question is
Mhm,
this course, is
mhm.
it good enough for the actual SAP certification exam? If somebody wants to actually gain an
So
actual
again,
test.
certification, I understood your question. So certification is more on the what do you say, bookish uh, uh, knowledge. Okay, so you will get 4 books, I think. Okay, when you opt for any certifications, right? So when
Right.
I am also MDG certified, and
From
as for
SAP.
yes, as for HANA
Okay.
certified and SPG certified. So we
Okay.
used to get 4 books. Okay. So 4 books will give you more. You have to basically, it is more on the bookish knowledge that they will ask for.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
but if you want to try what sort of questions you guys will get if you opt for any certification, then there is
Yes.
one link, depot.in. Okay, you go to depot.in and just write depot.in/mdg. Okay, mdg
Okay.
finance or anything, just put mdg, then it will give you a list of questions that you can make out what type of question you will get.
Right.
Depot.
No, but of course, having this course completed should definitely help to achieve
Absolutely,
that.
absolutely,
Yes.
because you know
That
what are the functionalities of an addition, change request,
exactly.
data
So it
model,
will build
those
the
things will work. Yeah,
okay. Okay. But then you're saying, despite of having all this
there is something
knowledge
additional
and
you need to also learn that will be specific exclusively that are
for
related
the
to the kind
yeah
of question.
for the exam point of view, it's a
Exactly.
different setup.
Yeah. Go to depot.in, daypo.in. You will get the questions, the sample
DAYPOT.
question. PO. Yeah. No,
Okay.
not POT, just PO. Depot.in.
DAYPO.in. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll check
It
that.
has all the questions. Oracle, SAP, everything. Each module wise they have. You can go.
Right.
Okay, guys, it was nice talking to you. If you feel good to continue, you can give us a go ahead to that coordinator, and hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much.